عم الخلائق رأفة وحنانا، سبحانه تجري الرياح بأمره فتنبت الأرض أشجارا وأغصانا، وبحار بطري اللحم زاخرة، وأخرى تفيض عذبا لسقيانا، وشمس تجود بالدفء ما بقيت الدنيا، وما بخلت قرونا وأزمانا. خلقنا من منية خلقت فكانت الأرحام مأوانا، غذينا من غير جهد ومسألة فتكامل الخلق صورا وألوانا. نحن وعين الله تكلأنا، والأب يسعى والأم ترعانا، حتى إذا القوى فينا قد اكتملت كثرت معاصينا وعظمت خطايانا. نسينا كيف كان منشأنا، فكيف نسهو عن الذي بفضله أبقانا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، قصدت باب الرجا والناس قد رقدوا، وبت أشكو إلى مولاي ما أجد، وقلت يا أملي في كل نائبة يا من عليه لكشف الضر أعتمد. أشكو إليك أمورا أنت تعلمها، ما لي على حملها صبر ولا جلد. مددت يدي إليك بالذل مفتقرا، يا خير من مدت إليه يد، فلا تردنها يا رب خائبة، فلا تردنها يا رب خائبة، فبحر جودك يروي كل من يرد. وأشهد أن سيدنا وإمامنا وقائدنا وحبيبنا رسول الله محمد يا خير من دفنت بالقاع أعظمه، فطاب من طيبهن القاع والأكم. نفسي تتوق لمسجد أنت ساكنه، فيه العفاف والطهر والكرم. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليك سيدي يا رسول الله. ثم أما بعد. Surely we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we thank Him. We show our gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I bear witness openly that there is no God worthy of our worship except Allah. I bear witness openly that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the best of the creation of Allah and the last of His messengers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless our gathering. Allahumma ameen. Dear respected brothers and sisters, we'll come back to another day, and it is a very distinguished day, a very special day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored us to witness. So I can tell, we could rejoice because of two reasons today. Number one, that we came to the masjid to attend Jumu'ah. Number two, that this is the first day of the month of Shaaban. And when we talk about Shaaban, it's a very important topic to know the value of the days that we are witnessing, that we are living in. When we talk about the month of Shaaban, it's a very critical topic that we cannot even, encompass the virtues of Sha'ban in this very short time during the khutbah. But my mission, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide me to fulfill that mission. رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِنْ لِسَانِي يَفْقَهُ قَوْلِي. Allahumma ameen. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide me to fulfill that mission, to just give you a hint of the virtues of the month of Shaaban. And we try to charge our batteries, our hearts, so we can be ready for Ramadan and to understand the logic of the worship in Shaaban and to get the philosophy of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the month of Shaaban, to know the idea behind his actions in Shaaban and what does it mean for us. What are the virtues of the month of Shaaban? And when you recite Quran, when you go throughout the Sunnah of Rasulullah Muhammad, the hadith, the traditions, the statements of the Prophet Muhammad, you will get to know the importance of Shaaban. And before I share with you the hadith that we need to study and we need to understand it, let me tell you the significance of the month of Shaaban. First and foremost, you as a Muslim, you have spent the entire year after Ramadan, you got busy with lots of things. And Shaaban, we could consider Shaaban as the first step to prepare ourselves spiritually and physically for Ramadan. Because Ramadan is not something you need to be lazy in it or you need to neglect the virtues of Ramadan. It's the real marathon. It is the real competition to Jannah. It is the season that Allah had made it to get the forgiveness of Allah and to make it to Jannah. And one of the things that before I tell you that, let me tell you the importance of understanding the logic and the dimensions of the worship in Ramadan and in Shaaban too, because they are related to each other. When we talk about our hearts, and let me talk here honestly with my brothers and sisters. What about our hearts since we left Ramadan? Our hearts became busy, and most of the days we are busy with our work, with our families, and most of the time we could give just short time for the worship of Allah. But the fact is that we came here basically, essentially, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We got distracted by lots of means, and that is what Allah had mentioned in Surah Al-Takathur, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala illustrated this point in the Quran very clearly, like crystal, when Allah had said, Alhaakumut takathur. You got distracted by having more and more and more. Hatta zurtumul maqabir. Till you get to visit the graveyards. Till you will be carried to the graves. At that time, you will realize the reality. What is the reality? That nothing can benefit you except your good deeds. That is the case. That is number one. So could you check your heart while you are listening to me? Could you scan your heart and compare that heart with the heart that you had in Ramadan? Big difference. Big difference. And the worst, that we have some people had neglected the worship completely till this point, and they are waiting for the first day of Ramadan to show up. And their hearts became rusty because the disobedience of Allah, it has impact on our hearts. Let me tell you the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whenever we commit any sin, whenever we commit a sin, a black dot will be placed in our hearts. For every sin that you are going to do, or you did, you will get a little black dot in your heart. And could you imagine your heart after committing 1,000 sin, 2,000, 10,000, 500,000. Could you imagine that heart, how it looks like? That is why Allah said in Surah Al-Mutaffifin, كَلَّا بَرَّانَ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ. Their hearts became rusty. And Allah described some hearts for the people when Allah said, بَلْ أَشَدُّ قَسْوَةً. Their hearts, not only like rocks, but their hearts are even harder than the rocks itself. So that is the case. You have people, no matter what you told them about Allah, about the Quran, they did not move. Their hearts are not shaking. And that is the problem. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wanted us to realize that situation and to get the benefit of Shaaban. You and I, we came here to the Jumu'ah time not to spend only time and the Imam is giving the khutbah and I can, be busy with thinking about other stuff, and finally the Imam will pray the 2 rak'ahs and that's it. That's not the purpose. The purpose that we get the reminder and we act accordingly. That is the main point here. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the hadith that I'm mentioning, it is Sahih hadith. In another narration, it's Hasan, sounds good. A hadith narrated by Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu anhu, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam one day was asked, Ya Rasulullah, why we do see you are fasting too much in that month that you do not fast in any other month like month of Shaaban? He sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave the answer, and he mentioned 2 reasons. The first reason, he said, ذَلِكَ شَهْرٌ يَغْفُلُ عَنْهُ النَّاسِ بَيْنَ رَجَبْ وَرَمَضَانِ. It is the month which resides between Rajab and Ramadan. Ramadan, insha'Allah, I could tell you that we will not have a spot in the masjid except if we have a brother who will come for tahajjud, who will come for iftar, and we will enjoy the program insha'Allah Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma ballighna Ramadan. May Allah let us reach Ramadan. Allahumma ameen. Ya Rabbil Alameen. But what about Sha'ban? Most of people are neglectful, are not mindful of Sha'ban, because it resides between Rajab and Ramadan. And you know what? Most of us would say, I think I will do much efforts in Ramadan, so let me take rest in Sha'ban, then I will be ready with the full energy in Ramadan. That's the trick of the shaitan when shaitan plays with our minds. But put in your consideration, take in consideration that you are basically required to worship Allah. Whether in Ramadan, in Sha'ban, in Shawwal, it's the ibadah. It's the ibadah. So number one, the reality that most of people are not mindful of the month of Sha'ban because it resides between Rajab and Ramadan. And number two, he said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَهُوَ شَهْرٌ تُرْفَعُ فِيهِ الْأَعْمَالُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَأُحِبُّ أَن يُرْفَعَ عَمَلِي وَأَنَا صَائِمٌ. He said it is the month of Sha'ban is the month that our deeds will be raised to Allah, will be taken up to Allah. Our deeds will be elevated and taken up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said, I would like my deeds will be raised to Allah while I am in a state of fasting. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to fast a lot in Sha'ban. mostly, the most of the month he used to fast. We could not say that he fasted the entire month of Shaaban. No, he did not make that. Sayyidah Aisha said in the hadith, she said, I did not find Rasulullah had completed the entire month in fasting except for Ramadan. But that is again, that we should as Muslims prepare ourselves for fasting, especially with the young generations. You know, sometimes they are not getting used to fasting. They are not practicing fasting like eventually, and that is the case. They do not fast regularly as some people, they fast Mondays and Thursdays all along the year. They need to practice. They need to start taking some of the initiative steps to fulfill the fasting in Ramadan. And it's a training course. Every Muslim should take in consideration the value of Shaaban. That we fast, we remember Allah a lot, our deeds will be raised to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will be taken up. Could you please tell me if you did something wrong throughout the entire year? What do you like Allah to find in your records in Sha'ban when the angels will take your deeds up to Him? How do you want to conclude and end your record in Sha'ban with? Most of us, and we know this hadith. We know this hadith. But let me remind myself and remind you as well. Every night, with no exception, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala descends to the first heaven before Fajr. And Allah will say to His servants, who is asking for forgiveness? And I will forgive his sins. Who is asking for anything? And I will make it happen to him. Who wants me to accept his repentance? And I will accept. That's every night. Every night. You know what? Why Rasulullah is fasting in Sha'ban? What's the logic? What's the philosophy behind fasting in Sha'ban? Because when you have everyone is busy with something, you stick out and you say to Allah, oh Allah, they are busy for preparing for Ramadan, but I am here. I'm special. I am the one who remembered you. You stick out amongst the creation of Allah. In Ramadan, you will have lots of competitors. Lots of people will compete you. They will come to try to take Jannah before you. You will have lots of people in Ramadan. If you wanted my advice, the real distinguish is in Sha'ban. To be special, you need to be in Sha'ban. You know, one of the things that the most of the places that Allah wanted us to remember Him in, you could say in the masjid. No. Allah wanted us to remember Him in the masjid, yes. But what's the most beloved place that Allah wanted you to remember Him in? The marketplace, a souk. The marketplace, when you are shopping, in the mall, when everyone is busy with getting the items in the cart, when everyone is busy, that's why we have a specific dua for the marketplace. When you go for shopping, why? Because you want to say to Allah, oh Allah, this place People are not expecting that your name will be mentioned here, but I am the one who will mention you. Waqtul ghafla. It is the time that everyone gets distracted. You stick out to say, I am here. In the time before Fajr, while everyone is sleeping, or those who are still awake, they watch TV. Some of the young generation, they hang out with their friends till the morning. But you are standing alone in your house, in your room. You made wudu with sincerity, full contemplation. You stood up to pray to Allah and make dua. You will be so special. Fasting in Shaaban is so important. Of course, we have lots of virtues, especially when we talk about the midpoint of the night of Shaaban, the night of the midpoint, the middle of Shaaban, and that is, inshallah, could be the next Jum'ah or even after that. But let me tell you something here about fasting. One of the benefits of fasting that we know we need to learn, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever fasts one day, just one day, for the sake of Allah, Allah is going to make a distance between him and the hellfire like a 70 seasons. A distance, 70 kharifa. Like you have 70 seasons as a distance between you and Jahannam. So on the day of judgment, you will never ever see Jahannam. One day, for the sake of Allah. One day, if you did not ever fast in Sha'ban, make this year special and try to get some, even one day. Even one day. I wouldn't say 20, 25, 29. No, just one day. 3 days. Try to get something. Feel the sweetness of Iman. And of course, it has another dimension. I'm going to share with you, inshallah, the second khutbah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of us. Allahumma ameen. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make today better than yesterday. And may Allah make tomorrow better than today. Allahumma ameen. And may Allah elevate our ranks on the day of judgment. Allahumma ameen. أقول ما تسمعون وأستغفر الله العلي العظيم لي ولكم من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى صلاة وسلام على النبي المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم. ثم أما بعد. As we know, we have lots of practical steps that we need to know during the time of Sha'ban to maintain a good relationship with Allah before Ramadan. You know, most of us, it's a matter of preparing your heart, preparing yourself spiritually. You know what's the secret? What's the secret behind the reality that I know and you know, that most of Muslims, they spend only 1 week, 10 days in Ramadan, then you find the masajid begins to be empty again. What's the reason behind that? Because they did not prepare themselves properly in Sha'ban. That's the case. Most of people, they take the first days of Ramadan, 6 days, 7 days, and then you find most of them had disappeared. And they come back. MashaAllah, the masjid is full the night of Laylatul Qadr. Then they disappear again. And again the masjid is packed. at the first day of Eid. Then, Assalamu alaikum, see you next year, inshallah. What kind of worship? What kind of worship? That's a reality. I'm not talking from my own mind, like I'm not pretending. It's a reality. The problem is that we did not prepare ourselves in Shaaban. If you did so, you will have the energy and the Iman that could make you last till the end of Ramadan. And Ramadan by itself could let you continue the entire year in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the practical steps: come to fast in Shaaban. Number 2, try to memorize and recite Quran. Engage in lots of the remembrance of Allah. Soften your heart by remembering Allah, by doing lots of istighfar. Ask Allah for forgiveness. And let me tell you something. I know it might touch your heart. You may feel pain, but that's my mission, is to wake us up. How many people that you know, relatives, friends, neighbors, have passed away since after Ramadan and they couldn't make it to this Ramadan? How many people passed away that you know they couldn't make it to Ramadan and they could think before that, you know what, I will witness Ramadan. Even if I miss this Ramadan, I could make it to the other Ramadan. If I miss the other Ramadan, I could make it to the third. But what happened? They passed away. How many relatives that they passed away because of the coronavirus? That's the reality. It might be the last chance for me and for some of us. How many people used to pray with us here in the masjid and they will not be with us in this Ramadan? It could be the last Ramadan for me or some of us. We do not know. My message: show Allah the best of you in the month of Shaaban, and do not wait till you show Him in Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of us. Allahumma ameen. Allahumma اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا. اللهم توفنا مسلمين وألحقنا بالصالحين واحشرنا يا ربنا في زمرة خير المرسلين. اللهم تولى أمرنا وأحسن خلاصنا وفك أسرنا وتوفنا وأنت راض عنا. اللهم بلغنا رمضان. اللهم بلغنا رمضان. اللهم بلغنا رمضان وأعنا فيه على الصيام والقيام. اللهم بلغنا رمضان. اللهم يا ربنا نسألك غفرانا ونسألك رحمة يا رب العالمين. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وأقم الصلاة. قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم الله.